Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but... Ah, you disappeared! Now there's just some half-naked man reading a book and eating a popsicle. Who is that?
That is Jacob Lordy playing Felix in Saltburn.
Oh, Lordy, indeed!
He's quite lovely.
Yes, he is. What's he reading there?
Oh, I don't know. Probably something very symbolic. I can't tell. It's set in 2007, so you would love the soundtrack because you'd be like, these are all the bangers from 5 years ago.
Oh, my Lord. One of my students the other day was like, Miss Davis, are you going to Railbird this year? Because I feel like a lot of the bands are music that you like. I was like, well, I don't know. Let me pull it up. And I'm like, I have not heard of any of these people. Like, who's these people? Oh, Counting Crows. Yeah, I heard of them. Not a fan. And I think there was maybe one other that I had heard of, but it's just like, oh, God, I won't.
So with Counting Crows, I figured out I really like their lyrics, but they're kind of like the National. I like the lyrics, but I can't listen to it. I just remember when Mom tried to like the National without actually hearing them.
I told Ben that story like right after you reminded me of it when we were driving. I was like, you want to hear a funny story about my mom? And how she wouldn't admit that she didn't like If it's in the New Yorker, it must be good.
Absolutely.
Well, what is he in that's set in 2007 that I should watch?
Oh, you won't watch it. I had to watch it. I've been wanting to watch it. I wanted to go see it in the theater, and after seeing it, I'm really mad I didn't see it in the theater because every shot is just like this. Like they're all just perfectly crafted, gorgeous, beautiful mise-en-scène. And it's one of those
mise-en-plus, what?
It's a film thing, don't worry about it. The production values, the art direction. Is that better? So somebody made me watch Big Business, and I needed a palate cleanser afterwards. So I finally watched Saltburn. And I wanted to make sure that I remembered.
Oh, is this Saltburn? Okay.
Yes, this is from Saltburn.
You don't think I'll watch it? I mean, they look really pretty. Is it scary?
It's not scary.
It's dramatic. It's sad.
It's dramatic if you take it seriously. It's very, very dark comedy. Very, very dark comedy.
Oh, yeah. That's hard for me.
It's like if The Talented Mr. Ripley ended with a triumphant feeling. And if Midsommar was like The Talented Mr. Ripley, but at the end, the joy was more gleeful. It was great. It's like you're watching it and you're like, oh, God damn it. This is going to be one of those fucking like Evelyn Woe, like, God damn poor person, like falling in love with these rich people and these rich people just using them and being so rude. And then like partway through, you're like, oh, no, wait a minute. This is different. This is different. This is fun. This is changing up the rules. So,
well, if rich people are getting fucked over, I might enjoy that.
I mean, I'm not gonna say you shouldn't watch it.
I'm just gonna keep hanging out with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Okay, I think that's probably for the best.
Every time I'm like, I really gotta stop watching this show and feeling bad about myself, I see a famous person who I either like or like, think they're like a reasonable human being. Talk about how they like watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah. This is like, the world is so fucked.
Just watch whatever makes you happy. Yeah.
Watch what you want.
Yeah. Why is my background blurry? Did you do that? Is that a setting you put on there?
No, I didn't do that to you.
No,
You
I
can
didn't do it.
you can change it back.
Is it like automatic now? Seems like, nah, we don't want to see any of y'all shit.
You're asking me questions about a major corporation and I don't know the answers.
Oh, am I asking you questions about a big business?
No, what? Oh, that was so good. She's on fire, ladies and gentlemen. For Ryan's
And you didn't
birthday.
want me to have drunk. I'm only
Uh-huh.
a little into this city.
That's good. That's a good place.
Aren't these glasses pretty?
This I can't see because they are. Yep.
Martha got these for me for Christmas.
Oh, that was a good choice for her.
I know. I mean, they're pink, which isn't the best, but
I can't tell because it's all. They don't look pink through Zoom. Blurry. They still don't. They still don't look pink.
Yeah, it's not like.
It's like a coupe glass, ladies and gentlemen, but a square. So
it's very 20s.
mm-hmm.
They make me feel fancy.
They make you look fancy. If a little blurry.
That has stains on it.
Yeah, it's stained. I can't tell. Everything's all blurred out.
It's my Saturday tank top.
This is really good visual storytelling.
Don't get any of this out.
Podcast.
How have you wasted time this week, Heather Davis?
I watched Saltburn. That was not a waste of time.
You apparently enjoyed it since you went to the effort of making it. Is this your background for when you're in work meetings too?
You know, I'm kind of tempted. No, it's not going to be. I just put it up there to fuck with you because I had the space background on again. And then I was like, oh, she's going to be like, blah, blah, space, blah, blah. And I was like, I'll just fucking put Jacob Lordy up there and break her brain. So,
Lordy.
You're very welcome. I spent time with my uncle, who still can't remember what day it is. And I am probably going to go pick him up very early tomorrow before the drizzle starts and drive him up here to Denton to stay for an unknown period of time because.
No, or y'all just decided to go ahead and bring him up?
The problem is the ice is happening so fast, I can't tell if the grid's going to stay on. So the hope was that there would be no precipitation.
Okay.
And then I could just go get him anytime if the grid breaks.
Yeah,
but I don't trust TXU, which is his power provider, not to just turn people off so that they can save money. In my opinion, which you can't sue me for, TXU, because nobody listens to this podcast.
And another big business.
I will salt burn you from the inside if you come after me, and you don't even know what that means, and don't even try to figure it out.
Hey, you know what? You are one of the saltiest people I know, so.
That's right. And I will burn. So anyway, yes, so concerned about him and his dog. It took some effort to convince your mother that it was the right thing to do. And that
to not abandon our. Are we allowed to talk about our uncle in the podcast?
I mean, he's going to be a big part of my life for this year, so yeah. Okay. He's got dementia, y'all. It's real.
All right, yes. Sorry, I meant, I guess, his diagnoses.
He doesn't really understand that he has dementia.
Yeah.
But he does have very interesting conversation. So first of all, that man can make a dick joke out of anything. So I got to be real careful about what I say. And he had written on some notepad somewhere, red, white, and royal blue. And, you know, on day 3...
I'm still laughing about how our uncle's basically a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, it's getting...
But he's like 65.
Yeah, he's 68. He'll be 69 in May. If he can remember that, he might make more jokes. Who knows?
I didn't realize he was that close in age to Dad.
Yeah, they're just 2 years apart.
Oh, yeah, he's the middle one. Okay, yeah. So convinced Mom what? Or
so no. Well, anyway, I was going through his notebooks trying to find the password for his laptop, and That's what you have to do when you're a caregiver for people with dementia, by the way. Um, so I found it. And while I was in there, he had written red, white, and royal blue. And so I was like, oh, hey, Eddie, it's day 3 of the first weekend that I'm staying with you. And we've just been talking to each other to death. How about we watch this movie that you made a note about at one point? And so it was very entertaining because, of course, he could not put together that like Taylor Zach Perez and Uma Thurman were supposed to be related. He kept thinking that the chief of staff and Taylor Zach Perez were related because they were both brown. And it was like, he's like, oh, his mom is mad. And I'm like, she's mad. Like,
not his mom.
And then he was like, oh, they're kissing. And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, they're young dudes, whatever. And then we get a couple more scenes in, and I'm like strategically going to move laundry around, because there's a little bit of sexy in there. And I come back in at one point and they're making love. And he goes, I mean, at that angle, nothing's happening.
Oh.
And I was like, the intimacy part, they apparently didn't do a very good job, did they? I said, I think there's worse things about this movie, like the fact that it's a movie and not a miniseries, which it should definitely be in a miniseries. And although Taylor Zach Perez is very pretty, they needed a much better actor to play Alex. And also, like, they cut out so much, and I don't agree with all the changes that they made. And they lit it like a CW show. Like, they lit it like the brightest thing. Is this
a podcast about red, white, and blue, royal blue, or?
Oh, you want to talk about big business instead?
It's more. I have more to say.
Do you?
I do.
What a face. Well, Randy, so what do you
remember?
Challenge
accepted.
What do you remember?
I don't get to talk about how I've wasted time this week.
Oh my God.
You're the one that likes to stick to the format.
I thought I used up all the time talking about how I wasted time, but you go right ahead, babe. How'd you waste time this week?
You know how I wasted time? Listening to you.
To me talk about blah, 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 blah.
I've wasted a lot of time at night this week, like going to bed and doing nothing because my child hasn't wanted to come home.
Oh, okay. So
right before I got on this podcast, I wasted a lot of time on DoorDash trying to order some fucking food because they wanted to verify my identity and my credit card 5 different ways.
Ew. You made yourself a strawberry cake?
Oh no, I only made the puree. I haven't even begun to make the cake. It's in stages. I mean, my birthday's not till Wednesday, so.
Did you see that there's gonna be, I think it's off Broadway, there's gonna be a play that's like about the history of Mary Todd Lincoln, but it's from like an uninformed thing, and a queer non-binary actor is playing Mary Todd Lincoln.
I have not, but you know who definitely wants to go see that.
Oh yeah, you know who already slid into the DMs of said actor and was like, I have to go see the show. And all I could think was, how great would it be if Ryan remade that strawberry dress cake and showed up in New York with like, here you go, cast and crew.
It's your Mary Todd Lincoln cake.
Eat Mary Todd, enjoy.
And of course he slid into the DMs.
Oh yeah. And of course he's like, well, I ran the place for 10 years and and like handled her panties every day. It was like, go, go.
Now I know we're not using his name and we won't, but I also know he's never gonna never listen to our podcast.
Why? What? Did he tell you that?
No, but he hasn't said anything about it, or does he even follow us on Instagram? Well, you know what? This is how we find out.
Our dear friends, I'm banking on the Doctor History. I believe that you believe in us. And my sister is throwing shitty shade your way.
You know what? If I'm wrong, I will buy a confetti cannon and pop it off on the next podcast.
Why don't you just make a donation to the foundation that Doctor History runs? For the amount of the cost of a confetti cannon plus gas.
I'd rather just buy a confetti cannon. Okay, so what do I remember about Big Business?
Yeah.
Quite a lot, actually.
Let me start with what I remember.
Okay.
Nothing. I didn't even remember. You were like twins. I was like, what? Like, I was pretty sure.
You ever actually saw this movie?
I saw it. I know I saw it. I'm pretty sure that I remembered it was Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin, but that could be a fever dream as well. I literally was just watching this and I was like, we watched this. Please continue. What do you remember quite a lot?
But switched at birth, ? And the answer is yes. Twins, swap, pink gingham, characters reverse. So like Lily Tomlin was like the strong one in one, and then the weak one, City mouse versus country mouse like dynamic. Oh, and I believe it is or was one of Father Hector's favorite movies.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it first time, was at his house.
Oh, okay.
Or he at least owned it. I know that because I remember seeing the cover. I mean, I didn't remember the plot.
The big business part?
I mean, yeah, it was like big business involved,
Twins switched at birth is the basic plot. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So.
That's funny.
Did you know that it was loosely based on Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors?
I did know that when I looked it up, but it did seem very much like a Comedy of Errors.
It was.
For sure. It needed more jokes.
It did need some more jokes.
It had a lot of physical comedy and slapstick and clown type comedy that Bette Midler just couldn't carry off. I felt like Lily Tomlin was my favorite thing about the whole thing. The whole movie should have just been about her being country. What was her name? Country Rose. Like,
they
I will watch
both
that.
Rose and Sadie.
Yes, but there was country and city. That's how I wrote the names down, so I could remember.
Country Rose versus City Rose.
In fact, I said, did Donald Trump learn all of his shit from Country Rose? She was campaigning hard like a Trumpster. Like,
yeah, that like bouquet with the fucking stamper in it. I remembered that. Like, it was in the recesses of my mind because I was like, yeah. I have a mint julep. Yeah. That was good. Would you like for me to give a synopsis of the movie?
Oh yeah, we've not been doing that, please.
Yeah, we forgot. So two sets of twins born on the same day at a small hospital in Jupiter Hollow, West Virginia, have one of the twins switched from the sets. And then they grow up. And, and fate brings them together in New York City as the City Sadie is trying to shut down the factory that City Rose or Country Rose and Country Sadie depend on, and their town depends on. So they go to New York to try to fight, and calamity ensues.
Hijinks ensue.
Hijinks ensue. Not calamity. Hijinks more than anything. Do you know what my favorite part that I didn't remember of this movie was?
Was it the yodeling? Because it was not my favorite part.
The yodeling with the steel drums.
Oh, no.
Little cross-cultural yodeling happening.
No.
That cow was so fucking over it. The cow was like, grrr. And then there's fucking yodeling at it. Like, bitch, can you just get back to milking me, please? Like, why are we taking a yodeling break? You're not done.
I wrote too much yodeling before we even got to the steel drums yodeling. Like, there was already too much.
You were already done. And little did you know it would get better.
Not better. It just kept happening. That's not the same thing at all. I apparently thought Lily Tomlin was really short. I don't know why. So
He
then
is
when
really short.
no, I looked it up because I was like, gosh, I thought Lily Tomlin was short. Bette Midler is so much shorter than Lily Tomlin. Is she a midget? How
Oh
tall
my
is
God. Because
she?
I was going to say, we met Lily Tomlin and she is short. She was
So
tiny.
I think she must have shrunk or something. Anyway, the internet says that Lily Tomlin is 5'8", and the
That
internet
is
says
impossible.
the
I'm
internet.
5'8".
I know. And
That is, she was like, we had to like bend down to hug her.
I know she's a tiny person. So the internet says Lily Tomlin is 5'8", and the internet says that Bette Midler is 5'1". So I'm gonna
5'1"?
go, yeah, I'm gonna go with like 4'11" and 5'2". I think that's how they really are in real life. They're both tiny. Big personalities, really big personalities, but tiny,
Yeah.
tiny people.
Yeah, no. And like I had just forgotten until you said that about our hike that we met Lily Tomlin that one time.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know, met is the word. We got her signature.
Yes.
Like, I don't think we were like, hello, my name is blah, 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 but you know, met.
Right. It was a stage door encounter
Yeah.
that
Yeah. We didn't even go to the show.
we did not initiate said stage door encounter.
That's true. We were just along for the ride.
Sometimes.
No, so I still haven't said my favorite surprise part of the movie. I can't believe you can't guess it.
I don't know what.
Seth Green.
Acting like your kid.
I will
Or,
never pay my child for grades.
do
I
you know
would pay him to pick up his goddamn toys, but I will not pay him for grades.
did you know how mad I was at mom and dad that they wouldn't pay me for grades? They were like, no, you should just earn A's. And I was like, but other people get paid.
They should
Like
get paid. Like,
rewarded to why
all
not?
right, capitalism.
I mean, it's perform like it's they wouldn't pay me. Like, do you know how much back chore money those people owe me? Like,
I was gonna say, do you think they're gonna pay you for grades? Like, you should have just started failing, and then maybe they would have paid you for grades. Except no, because I did fail, and they didn't pay me for grades either. They paid me to lose weight. That's all they could pay me.
In the beginning, I felt very sorry for that poor West Virginia woman and all those damn kids. And then the fact that she immediately had two more kids, like,
Yeah,
damn,
but they
that's a
were
whole
happy.
lot. Well, I mean, sure. Sure, they were happy.
I mean, I think they were really pushing on that money doesn't buy happiness. So look how unhappy the rich couple was.
I don't know. It was,
Moving on.
they were pushing. I hate that old apple juice piss mix up when that happens.
Oh my God.
It's the worst.
Worse, I was like, oh Lord, someone's gonna be drinking some pee.
But it was a cute little setup for like, oh, she's absent-minded. That's how you can manage to
like
mix
the
up
blind
babies.
old lady. Yeah. I was like, oh Maggie.
Yeah, I really felt like Trump was learning his shit from Country Rose, and then when they were in New York, and she was like, she was suspicious of everything. Like she was like, computer chips, they got their ways. I was like, oh my God, it is Trump. Like, holy shit.
She's like testing the sink, like
Yes.
microphone testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Which
And
they
then when
thought was a bidet.
No,
That's
when
hilarious. There's funny dialogue.
there was some funny dialogue. I really liked it when Bette Midler said it was a bidet and Lily Tomlin tried to sit on it.
Get her butt up and she's like, they're supposed to be taller than me.
I know, I love it. And I don't believe that their driver actually talked to them all sassy like that, but I really wish that he would. That would be great. It was unbelievable that nobody was like, I mean, they made fun of their own accents when they finally met each other, but nobody else picked up on the accents. It was like,
yeah, like, oh, why are you suddenly talking like you're from West Virginia?
right. Yeah. I mean,
there has to be some suspicion of disbelief. I love a good scary boss scene.
sure.
Like, I feel like that comes in. But then I think they do a really good job taking it further with that statue of that person like cowering in fear.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, all right. Scary boss. Here she comes, the scary bitch boss. But then it's like this like fucking frozen bronze statue covering their face and cowering. It's like, all right, okay.
I did
You
not
found a way to make it a
enjoy.
little unique.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy all of the like PMS jokes, but it was the 80s, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I know.
I did enjoy
I
the high concept hilarity of mini golf as a competitive sport on ESPN.
in the
Like
actual fuck. Like I
that
need to
that was so high concept and so well done that it really, really, really made me laugh. Like it
yeah.
just it's one of
But
those
you know what?
ideas.
It probably is a thing. I'm gonna look it up right now because I didn't look it
Okay,
up
you
sooner.
look it up. I mean, I was a little
Uh,
astonished to find out that like the kids like little league baseball thing is a real thing on ESPN. Like that threw
the
me for a
first thing
loop.
that says started typing is mini golf, and the first thing that comes up and goes a good first date. And I can tell you, as someone who's gone on a mini golf first date, no. Yes, but not if it's very hot because the guy was just like sweating
Oh.
so much, like buckets of sweat.
I can tell you that mini golf is really fun if you go to the Bible one in Lexington, Kentucky, and then
That's
make a
where we were.
and then you make up your own rules about how to play it. You make all the teenagers that work there really bad.
Uh, yeah, the Miracles is the best course. The New Testament's kind of lame. Old Testament's really good, and nothing will beat the Noah's Ark. Okay, is mini golf is globally recognized. Mini golf is a globally recognized competitive sport
Cool.
played professionally by many enthusiastic golfers.
I love the
The
guy was
Golf
like all
Sport
doing the like little
Federation has
whisper.
over 40,000 registered players representing 3 dozen countries. Now we know. You didn't know, now you know. I have a question for you, Heather Davis. Were culottes ever cool? Like, why?
That was the next thing I
Why?
had down here. Lily Tomlin in those culottes, because I loved her in those
Pink
culottes.
culottes. Pink Joe Bisbal pink culottes. Like,
They were
what is
great.
happening?
They were so good. Because she could just be sassy and in control and comfortable at the same time. I
They're not
loved it.
shorts, they're not pants, they're culottes. They're not a skirt, not a skirt. Culottes.
And then I loved it when she said, and these, you better believe I'm wearing my Thursday panties, and then did a little
Tuesday
shimmy.
panties, yeah. Like, oh, I guess you know I had pancakes for breakfast, but I guess you know that. And yeah, the Tuesday panties thing was she was definitely
Oh, this shimmy was so good.
yes, yes.
I would also like to know, along with her culottes, what was Country Rose's prop eyeglasses budget? Because she had at least two when she was doing her little disguises and her little, like, dressing up as the maid. Like,
Oh my lord.
she had that one little suitcase and it was mostly just full of culottes and eyeglasses. I don't know what
It was
going
full
on.
of costumes. And everything was to Bismarck.
And then at one point, I was real worried about how many men were going to show up to Country Sadie's hotel room that night because she kept telling people
she was flirting with everybody.
Yes.
And she's like, the men here are so nice. I loved seeing Agent Dale Cooper. That was a fun little
Where? What?
Kyle MacLachlan was the hotel manager.
Is that who he was? Are you sure?
Yeah.
You looked it up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I did with my eyeballs.
I'm just saying.
It looked familiar.
I hate when I can't read my own.
I like at one point that I was like, well, at least it's not another cruise down Hollywood Boulevard when she was doing the like montage of New York.
Yeah, that's true. It was a different one.
Yeah.
It was a different one. I loved the line, like loved, hated the line. Hicks always stay at the Y.
Yeah. But I did also, once again, Country Rose got out there with her trump. Can't outsnake me. It's in making the little snake. I'm telling you, just remake this movie with just Country Rose and have her run for president. And like, oh my God.
I would vote for her. She's got enough Julia Sugarbaker in her that I would vote for her.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I'm sorry. Like, there's something you just gotta love about a Southern phrase. Like, what is
she's gone country. I'll watch out.
Lord, my load is heavy. Like, I mean, come on. Like, when the sister's being all weird and spilling shit everywhere, and like, yeah, I feel like you feel that way sometimes, Heather Davis. Like, what? Lord, your load is heavy.
Yeah, I actually was real surprised. We didn't really talk about. I was like really feeling the sister dynamics in this movie. I will say.
Wasn't like when they're all like, "We're sisters." Like, oh well, I guess maybe I just glazed over that. We can talk about that. That stuff. The younger sister having to be taken care of. I like in both situations, like in both sets of twins, the younger sister is like this flitty, like, I want to be famous, whatever. I do like how Lily Tomlin, when she was having to be City Rose, would spin around in circles before each take to make herself dizzy.
Yeah.
Like, did you do that on Frankie and whatever?
Frankie and Johnny, she might have. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
She probably just smoked pot.
She's a very good actress. So
she is an amazing actress. I love Lily Tomlin.
She really was the best thing in the whole movie. No shade to Bette Midler and everyone who loves her.
Bette Midler is amazing in other ways. Like the eyes, the
Joan Collins eyes. At yodeling.
She's very good at yodeling. She's amazing in Beaches.
Yep.
Which I will make you watch one day. Maybe for my birthday next year, I'll make you watch Beaches.
We're gonna watch So Sad. Why are we gonna watch that for your birthday?
You ever know?
I do like that the men were so unimportant that basically it was like, we'll just swap them around. Like, who cares?
Oh yeah,
just how much history we have with these men. They're just interchangeable. Just
I mean, with the one you like the best. Sense, except her and the doctor. Like Country Rose and the doctor, it was like they exchanged like 2 words, and now they're like going to get coffee.
I didn't think that they didn't end up together, did they?
Yes, they did.
Who did Country
Rose and the doctor? No, Country Rose.
But City Rose ended up with Fred Ward.
Yes.
The mini golf player.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And Country Rose ended up with the dad from Family Ties.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Well, I was saying the doctor and you were confused, so I thought I'd go with something more recognizable.
No, because I realize now that one doesn't make sense, that all the rest of them do, but that one really doesn't.
Yeah, it was like they barely interacted with each other, and they're like...
And it seemed like City Rose did actually like him. He just didn't like Bette Midler, which is fair, because she was a lot with her lizard brooches.
Can I tell you something? I want to make love to a pastry cart.
Those pastries look so good.
What sounds like, oh, look at those cakes with the flour on top, and the Bette Midler's all, stop making love to the pastry cart and get down here. I want to make love to a pastry cart. When I'm like, what do I want for my birthday? I want to make love to a pastry cart. Like, that is what I want to do.
In the sense, not in a...
just like, blah, 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 blah. Not in a, like, I have some weird shoving pastries in my orifice other than my face. Like, that's
not in a Saltburn way. We'll just put it that way. For those of you who've seen it.
Oh my God. Now I don't know if I am going to watch this movie. Why are none of these people staying in their own homes? Why are they all staying at the Plaza Hotel when half of them live in New York City?
Well, to save time and also dramatic effect. I mean, come on.
Fine, the sisters are staying there and all that. But then when like Edward Herman and English
His
boy,
boyfriend. Uh-huh.
his boyfriend are like, oh, we have a suite. Like, why are you staying here? You can't take a
Well,
cab
the
to the
very
board meeting.
important board meeting is happening at the plaza. So it actually,
And you
so
know what? And New York really is not known for their mass transportation system.
do you think any of these people take the subway? Like, what are you talking about?
They can't take a cab.
Quite honestly, it really does make sense. It makes more sense than no one recognizing the accents made them different people and they were continually wearing different clothes. Like, at least at the very
I
end.
want a business that's going to put me up at the Plaza Hotel to make it faster for me to get to a board meeting.
All right, well, how ready are you to strip mine a West Virginia town? Because
I
that's
don't want
what it
any
takes.
other part of that job. I don't want any other part of that job. I just want someone else to pay for me to stay at the Plaza with my boyfriend.
I was very concerned that there was going to be a dream sequence at the night
yes,
when they were all
like,
kind of yeah. I was like, oh god, no dream sequence, and then it didn't happen. So I was very happy about that because I don't think I could have handled it. Then there was the inevitable screaming and woeing that happened when they all realized who they were. That was obnoxious, and I could have done without that. And then the last thing I wrote was men who smell like beer and bean dip.
What? I don't remember that one.
I think that was Country Sadie saying that she was tired of men who smell like beer and bean dip or whatever. It just made me laugh.
I'm making love in the back of a what? Like something.
Sports utility vehicle or something.
Yeah, sports utility vehicle or something, which we don't say anymore, which is why it took me a minute to like get there. Like, wait, what?
It was a couple who wrote the movie, so that's part of why it wasn't totally terrible, because it didn't have 3 writers.
It's just 2.
Just 2. That was the last thing I wrote.
Oh, that was the last thing you wrote? Okay, let's see what I have. Oh, Fire Island. I did like the confirmation that they were supposed to be a couple.
I mean, I made a note that I thought it was cute that they had the Fred Ward business in there, like trying to make them jealous or whatever. Like, that was kind of gay boy cuteness.
Almost heaven, West Virginia. When City Rose was like, I've never been called darlin before. Do you like being called like I feel like that Southern act, like the Matthew McConaughey effect. I was going to ask about the Matthew McConaughey, like Southern, deep Southern male voice and calling people darling, like it being so sexy. Like, is that something that's sexy to you?
It can be, as long as it also comes with like a feminist, like not incel, not.
I mean, yes, like take away all the other scary country, like whatever.
I mean, that can happen in a small town as long as none of the other stuff that happens in a small town happens, then I'm fine. Like, what's his name that was in Sweet Home Alabama? Like, that did it for me. Like, yeah.
Okay, because you remember our friend who like would just fucking melt whenever she heard like a Matthew McConaughey voice.
Yes. Yeah.
And then there was that guy that she was friends with who sounded, or at least tried to, and successfully, like, she made some bad choices with him. So I didn't know if that, because I know for me it is. Like, I know for me it's like,
well, like, we know I have a thing for voices, so yeah, I would say.
Yeah, yes. But there's also like some voices that you're like,
high voices, right?
Yes.
And bad voices and boring voices. And also scary country. So that darlin thing can slip real easily into the like, we're going to show you your place woman kind of thing. Yeah. And that scares the fuck out of me. Like, I honestly, of all the people in the world that I'm the most scared to be around, a group of white men
Yes.
who've been drinking,
Yeah.
that to me is scarier than any other group you could put me with. Like, put me with gangbangers. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna make dumb jokes and we're probably gonna be fine. But put
Yeah.
me with some
Yeah.
fucking these people that are trying to take their country back, like they scare the shit out of me. Like,
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it's a fine line.
it's a
Yeah.
super fine line. And it is not a ooh, it kind of scare. It's like, nope, it's either real sexy or it's get the fuck away from
Yeah.
me.
Not like this is sexy because it's kind of scary. It's not titillating or
Yeah,
tantalizing.
exactly. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I don't find
No,
that.
I see that. Yeah. Like just the genuine, like,
I mean, there's just like the
sincere
actual fear of sexual
gentleman.
violence. Like that to me is not
Yeah.
like not something I want to fuck around with at all. Like, nope.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It's just nope. Like that's why boys don't cry. Boys don't cry, but Heather does. I mean, I fucking like sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. Like I cried so hard. Like so hard just because that is so real. Not just because it happened and it did happen, but just because that's so real. Like, and you can't grow up in Texas and not know people where it's like, yeah, you could do that. I could see that happening. Like, I'm never going to be in a space alone with you in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like,
well, like,
you.
especially like you in a group of your friends when you've been drinking, you know?
Yeah.
Like something that, okay, maybe you would never do that of your own, but that like group.
Yeah.
Macho heightened mentality of like, yeah, this seems like a great idea.
Right.
Let's go beat someone up for being gay. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Absolutely. Yeah. He did a great job. I think he was probably what I would say the sexiest of all the men in this movie.
Who, Fred Ward?
Yeah.
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 Guy from The Right Stuff.
Yeah.
One of Dad's favorites.
I got you this ring with the miniaturized golf.
I think that was it too, because there's a way that character could have just been awful and annoying.
Yeah. Like mad that she wasn't there, and he's just like, what?
But
I'm gonna go get her.
Right, he was so sweet and genuine, and like he really seemed to have a good time playing the role, and like he took it seriously. Like taking the mini golf thing seriously. There's a way that it's so much funnier because of how seriously he took it. And then he was like genuinely just like, hey, boys, whatever, like let's switch up the beds. Like just like not like he's a hayseed, but in like the best way possible.
Yeah. I like your kimono. Did you get that in Nam? No, Fire Island.
So cute.
Talk about sisters. You love that sister throwing her under the bus like, oh, she didn't tell you she went to New York and she's not here. She just up and went this morning.
Oh, yeah. No, that was some Southern bullshit right there. Yeah.
Sisters. Mm-hmm. They were such devoted sisters.
I like that too, because it wasn't like everybody in the South was super nice. I mean, you know, like that would have been gross if everybody had been like, but you know. I feel like the only thing in his bag was a quilt. They were like, the craftsmanship.
A wallet with $25 and nothing else. Like no credit card, nothing else.
Listen, people who are not from the South, we don't travel with quilts. Or if we do, we also bring other things, not just quilts.
Well, I mean, that bag was like this big.
I know.
Before that scene, I was like, what is in that bag?
It had to be a travel quilt. I mean, apparently, even in the 80s, people didn't know how to do, like, how things fit in there. You know, we always talk about in the old movies, they had like the tiny luggage that's like, I fit 15 hats and 4 dresses. And it's like, no, you didn't. Where?
No, it's because they had like giant steamer trunks that you don't see on film. But like all the different stuff. It's good. It's not the worst movie we've ever seen.
No, compared to a lot of the shit that we've seen lately, it was definitely. And I think it definitely suffered at the box office. It came out the same time as Big.
Yeah.
So apparently it caused confusion when people were trying to go see the movies because people were like, Big or Big Business? And they both had FAO Schwartz in them, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like it was just a bad release, bad
and
timing.
They're both about like mixed up by like switching and
fish
swapping.
out of water.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine if you like mush these movies into one. What that would. Yeah. When are we gonna watch Big? We should watch Big. That's such a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Big's on the list. We can watch it. We got some slots coming up.
All right, cool.
It's going to be hard to deal with watching an adult woman.
Yeah, like trying to sex up like a man that's really a child. I know. I was thinking about that as well.
The podcasts I've listened to that have revisited it are like, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Well,
Not cool.
We'll think about it. We'll think that. Well, that's like me being like, it's green, like.
Yeah.
But he's a child in this movie, so I mean,
Yeah.
He was great.
He was the perfect kind of annoying in this movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my money. Yeah, he was my child. All right, well, that's it for this week of I Love You, But.
Yeah, thank you.
Next week.
You doing my part now? Are we really switching it up, big business style?
Oh! See us on Instagram at I Love You, But, and then the other one, Threads. Like us, rate us, review us, tell your friends about us.
Email us at I Love You But
next
Pod.
week when we talk about another movie.
You're doing great.
I'm doing a great job. I'm still watching the Harpo thing. I started it back up again. So
join us next week when we talk about the Philadelphia Story.
Yeah!
A good movie, a classic,
Not
a really
the
good movie.
Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington,
right,
which is what I think for the first 2 seconds after you say the Philadelphia Story.
Well, perhaps rewatching it will remind you why it's a wonderful film that I can't wait to watch and talk about. So be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. We want to thank you so much for listening. Hopefully Ryan can draw her attention away from Lucille Ball and Harpo Marx to let you know that I'm Heather and I'm
Ryan, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love.